first think when that whole situation with what was his name, Terry Carter?
Terry Carter and Bone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I was immediately, I was concerned for my friend's life, actually, Bone. He survived it, obviously, but they rushed him to the hospital. Terry Carter, there was no way he was going to survive it from the injuries that he sustained. And I immediately got on the phone and I went up to the hospital and visited Bone. And he was in there all messed up. Like, I had never seen nobody so bandaged up and one leg up here, another leg up. He was messed up. So, and then he told me the whole story, what happened, and that's the streets. Right. That's the streets.
Yeah, when that first happened, I was just like, what I was hearing was that, Suge ran over a dude who was very well, respected, and who knows what will happen to Suge after. If he ends up in jail, who knows if he's gonna end up dead.
Yeah, I was gonna say Terry Carter has a huge family. Huge family, lots of nephews, lots of cousins, and some of these people are in prison. So yeah, he has to be concerned about that. And then also Bone has a huge network. He's from Athens, and that's another whole area that Suge has to be concerned about. So I think Suge did the right thing. He realized that it's not going to be safe for me to be on this prison yard, and it's time for me to go into protective custody.
Do you think what Suge did was by running Terry and Bone over? Do you think it was on purpose, or was he just?
I don't think he ran Terry Carter over on purpose, because Terry Carter actually had nothing to do with the conflict. He just happened to be just kind of like moved into the direction when Suge accelerated the truck. In fact, Terry Carter and Suge were friends. I don't know to what degree, but they weren't enemies. It wasn't like I'm gonna run this dude over. But Bone and Suge were not friends. That was clear. It's been like that for a long time. So that was really just a Bone and Suge situation. And Suge decided he did not want to get out the vehicle. And another thing, the video doesn't show the other part. That video is only focused on the part where the truck pulls into the driveway. There were two altercations on that same block. Altercation 1 is off camera. What everyone has seen is altercation 2. And unfortunately, since this never went to trial, the public doesn't even really know what really happened. Suge ended up taking a deal. So the whole story of what happened that day will never be revealed because it never went to trial. But the part that's on video would be altercation number 2. So there was a whole nother altercation between Bone and Suge that's off camera that's never seen.
That happened, what I'm hearing, this is what I heard, that happened inside the, I guess there's a burger joint or something, I'm not sure.
Well, no, it happened on the street, 142nd Street.
Okay.
So Suge was parked on that street. He was parked in his car on that street. So there were two altercations. And then there was a previous altercation that happened at base camp for the promo they were shooting for Straight Outta Compton, which was at Looters Park. They had a base camp where all the people involved in shooting that promo. It wasn't the movie. The movie was already done being shot. They were shooting the promo that had Kendrick Lamar and Dr. Dre in it. So they were at base camp, and there was a confrontation between Suge and Bone at the base camp. And then there was 2 more confrontations on 142nd Street by the burger place.
Did this happen like on 2 different days?
No, all the same day. Oh. The confrontation at the base camp probably happened about maybe 30 minutes to an hour prior to the confrontation at Tam's. 140. I don't want to say Tam's because it actually happened on 142nd Street. Tam's Burger's right there. So a lot of people refer to that as Tam's, but if you look, they're on the street. They're on 142nd Street. And then when he runs over Terry Carter, that's in the Tam's parking lot.
Right. And I guess it was because how he was being portrayed in the movie or wanted some money.
They say that he went up there and wanted some money. And, and some people said that he was promised some money. Some people say he was never promised some money. So I don't really know the details about that. I just know that he went up to base camp and they told him to leave.
Right.
He wasn't welcome there.
Or maybe it wasn't enough money. That's too bad.
Yeah. And also when the confrontation at the Tams was not like planned. You know, there was all these rumors like, oh, there was phone calls and they wanted to meet Suge over there and set him up. None of that stuff was planned. It just so happened when Bone pulled up there, he was on his way to go do the final shot that they were shooting on Parmalee. Parmalee is a few blocks from Tams, but he missed his turn on Parmalee. And also, can I just add something more to that Bone story with the Suge Knight thing? I thought you were going to ask it, but you didn't. There was a rumor that he had a gun. Bone had a gun during that confrontation.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
That was being, right, you can never tell on the videotape.
You can't tell on the videotape.
Right.
But I just wanted to say that there was no gun. There was never a gun. It's just a rumor. I think TMZ really promoted.
They do a lot of that.
Yeah, they promoted this idea that Bone had a gun. But what's crazy, if you look at the early part of the confrontation, you see Bone punching with two hands into the car. There's no, it's just punches. There's no gun, there's no weapon. And then after he gets rolled over and he's on the ground, knocked out, it looks like somebody's picking something up. It's very grainy. I believe it was the walkie-talkie from being on the set that they picked up. And then let me also add this. When I was in the LA County Jail with my client, Tom Mesereau was talking to Suge, and there was a moment where I think my client went off for a second, and I heard Tom Mesereau saying, we're gonna FBI enhance these photos so that we can see if Bone had a gun. This is what he said, that's what I overheard. We're gonna send these photos to the FBI lab so that they can determine if there was a gun. And we never heard anything after that. If there was a gun in his hand and that video went to the FBI, they would have came back positive. Yes, that's a gun. So they went to the video went to the FBI, the photos went to the FBI, and nothing ever came back that it was a gun. But then Tom Mesereau got taken off the case, and another lawyer came in after that. Or I think that's when Matthew Fletcher became the lead attorney. Because I think Matthew Fletcher and Mesereau were on the case together, co-counsel. So yeah, I'm 1,000% certain that there was never a gun in Bone's hand. Mm-hmm. But you know, you go online and everybody's saying, oh, he pulled a gun out. That's why he Suge drove off crazy. Right. Nah, Bone is a fighter. He went there to fight this dude. Never a gun.